What is up, Overwatch community? My name is Trips, and welcome back to another episode of Watchpoint. Today we're going to be talking about some old news, obviously some patch notes, but we're thinking that they possibly might go live here, probably either with the start of the new season or a few weeks after, depending on how balance goes. A new hero was leaked last night, and a little bit of a Sombra update to the cast itself. But before that, I want to welcome back Yiska.
Hello.
So if you do not see, we are missing a host. Vultcha himself, I obviously don't want to speak for him, but his words to us was just that he didn't really have too much of a passion for the game anymore. And I completely understand that. Some of the development has been kind of slow, but obviously he has other opinions about the game. And it just wasn't. He didn't feel the need to host a podcast for a show or a game that he really wasn't feeling too up on, that he wasn't really playing, and it was just better off, instead of him faking it, that we move on as a show. Do you have anything else that I did not speak on?
No, but I think it's a fair move by him to just, have it be authentic. I mean, I would lie if I said that some of the, for instance, rigidity in the meta or the heroes that were played in it were kind of, bumming me out. But I've recently found my interest again in the game, especially in the Korean scene. And yeah, it's just fair for him to say, okay, guys, and to be honest, I have to, like, this feels like work.
Yeah.
So, right.
I'm moving my camera up, so if you notice a change, don't worry. I'm still here, guys. But other than that, I mean, this is kind of a time for, to be honest, we have been gone for, what, 2 weeks now-ish, depending on what exact time the last upload was. But it's kind of a time, it took the wind out of our sails a bit, because we will have to adjust. So, in the meantime, we're looking for a new host, or depending on how that shapes up, we don't know exactly. We want some feedback from you guys, the people who watch the show, the people who have an interest in the show. Give us ideas. We want to fill we have like a dream scenario that we want the channel to be with, multiple uploads a week and things like that. But obviously we haven't, we don't want to focus too far on the end goal. We want to move step by step. So if you guys have an idea for the cast, if you guys have an idea for maybe an alternative show or like a 10-minute, something like that, that we can add to the channel that you guys want to watch, we are welcome to all constructive criticism and ideas and all that type of stuff. Just leave it in the comments and let us know. Other than that, we are going to continue moving forward and back into Overwatch news. So, what was it? Maybe 2 or 3 weeks ago, I think they released the PTR for the server browser, some extreme changes to characters like Bastion and Mercy, and I think they changed McCree a little bit, and it's been a really fun experience, especially the server browser. From my perspective, they have opened up the door to so many tweaks and toggleables and number changes and things like that, all the different sliders that they added. Some people are really going ham on it and sitting there for hours playing a game, adjusting numbers, playing a game, adjusting numbers, and so on and so forth. And I've actually found a few game modes that are pretty solid. But I think I just asked you, but did you play much of the server browser stuff or anything on PTR that you noticed?
Well, I didn't play a lot, but I sure followed a lot of, the streamers, the usual ones, playing these modes, and some of them are obviously like ridiculous, and I mean a completely different experience in a way, especially the ones where they up the speed and lower the cooldown of abilities, which makes the game feel so much faster, right? But in general, like the concept is just, I mean, it's probably the closest to, modability that we could reasonably expect from this game, right?
For right now, yes. It's not like what I said. I was like, well, now we need to get like map customization and things like that.
Yeah, yeah.
But I really don't think it's baby steps. This was kind of an unexpected gift to everybody.
Yeah.
I think that once people dive in, I mean, people have dove in a little bit, but once we let it, let it fester and go for a couple months, you're probably going to be seeing some legit game modes come out of this that they might pull onto the arcade, or we might see even like a off-season tournament around, because I played a game mode that people are calling Anna Paintball, which is all Anna, 6v6 Anna. You have the minimal amount of health. You have maximum amount of hit or projectile speed. And some game modes are giving it one grenade. Some game modes are turning grenade off. But it kind of feels like an old school FPS like Snipers Only. And it gets really hiding around corners, and it feels like a really slowed down game compared to what Overwatch is.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, this would be the perfect time, right, between seasons, and the big streamers have already announced that they're going to be in-housing like the entire week, basically. And just imagine your favorite streamers like getting into a game of 12 and just trying out these ridiculous game modes. Like it sounds like a buttload of fun, right?
Oh yeah. I mean, and that's kind of what they're going for as far as another thing that we've been using it. Oh, but we've been using it for is in like scrims. You're able to either, well, A, you're able to get experience now, and B, you're able to set up different scenarios. You can set people's health bar lower, things like that. You can set up specific scenarios. I don't know how useful it is in the long term, but playing around with it and tweaking with it and things like that is nice. The XP is what my team actually is looking forward to, because spending a lot, I don't know why, but they don't like queuing comp really that much. They like playing scrims a lot. And a lot of the time poured into that means they're losing out on loot boxes and all the other stuff to butter you up.
Sure. Yeah.
So a few of the updates, they added a lot of sensitivities, which from what I've seen, unless I'm wrong, not too many people are changing that much. And by that I mean when you actually, anything like Mercy or Anna or Discord Orb, I wonder if am I missing anything else? Oh, Zarya Bubble.
Mercy heals.
Oh, I thought I said Mercy, but yeah, Mercy heals.
Okay. And also the Guardian Angel, right?
Yeah. You can adjust to where you move your mouse towards the character and imagine a, imaginary circle around that character. When you actually bump through that circle is when it does the brackets around them, and you can either fly as Mercy, heal as Mercy, Discord, yada yada. You can adjust that circle, that sensitivity to how close you have to actually aim to the character, so you don't fly to the wrong target or Discord the wrong target or anything like that. I watched a few videos on YouTube about people talking about it because I didn't want to adjust anything. I was seeing what other people were doing first, and it doesn't really seem like it's all that helpful, at least from their perspectives. I don't play too many of those characters anymore, so I'm not going to adjust it. But
yeah, I mean, it's a pretty much a trade-off between reliability of the ability. So like in hectic situations, sometimes you, for instance,
Sombra too.
Hear the Reinhardt. Oh yeah, true. You hear the Reinhardt shatter going down, and you want to maybe nano boost someone before you go down, so that you have a chance. Like in these situations, like obviously a bigger circle eradicates a lot of margin of error, right? Or embiggens it in a sense. So I don't know. Like I think I just have it the way it is currently, and hope that there's some of the issues fixed with Lucio. Because there seems to be some weird bug with Lucio, man. Like, I don't know what it is, but that guy eats these nano boosts like fucking cereal.
Yeah.
Like, I don't know. If they fixed that, I think there wouldn't be much of an issue. But then again, it's amazing that we have this customization option.
Yeah.
Right?
More options is always a better thing. Maybe, I guess, one downside would be for new players, but I don't think they're going to be looking into the settings anyways.
No. Unless you're total big biscuit, and before you start playing, change every little options thing. Like, dude, never done that.
No. Okay, moving on. One of the big ones is Bastion. They are, I would guess this would be a pseudo rework. It's not completely reworked. It's not like Symmetra, but it's a pretty big change. His configuration sentry deploy time has decreased from 1.5 to 1 seconds. The bullet spread increased by 50%. The bullet spread is always at maximum, so he never gets like a laser sight while he's inside sentry mode. They increased his magazine by 100, and he now no longer has a headshot multiplier and can no longer deal criticals via headshots. So something like a Reinhardt charging at him will no longer be able to just melt that Reinhardt, which is horrible. Like, people are saying things like, yeah, he's going to be more mobile because of the deploy time. He's going to have a bigger clip. But in reality, he's losing a lot of power in his damage, which I think is going to be a huge detriment to him. I mean, yeah, you can melt shields better because you have a bigger clip, but if they're like a mile away, you're not going to be able to hit them unless it's a Reinhardt shield, pretty much at all because of the spread.
Yeah, yeah.
Moving on before I go over like an overall with Bastion, his recon mode or walking mode, bullet spread decreased by 25% and magazine side increased by 5, so 20 to 25. People have actually been comparing him to Soldier now as far as his bullet spread is pretty laser point accurate.
Yeah.
And I think he has a lower damage fall off than Soldier does.
I mean, just think of, like, if that was constantly true, the only upside Soldier really has is group heal and movement speed, right?
Yeah.
That's the only two things that Soldier really brings to the table. I would generally say that his ultimate is better than Soldier's.
Yeah.
I would think, because it's more skillfully applicable, also because that is actually the last remaining real rocket jump, I guess, in the game. It's sort of like the Soldier Tier 2 thing more than Pharah has it. I mean, she has it in a little bit, like a little bit of a bump, and Zarya does too, but not anywhere near the ultimate, right? So, I don't know, man. Like, maybe he's coming out of the shed.
I don't think that he will be like some people are like, oh, Bastion's going to be the new Soldier or Bastion's going to be like one of the new DPS. I think that they gave him a little bit of room. They gave him a little bit of power back, but with the gutting of his headshot, that held. I think if they would have left his headshot in, he would have been ridiculous.
Yeah, yeah.
So I'd say he moves up maybe a tier or so, but I don't think he's going to be replacing anybody.
Yeah, that's a problem. The thing I see is like this has the potential to completely fuck Pharah, in the sense that currently, like, the best lineup you can obviously muster against the Pharah is like an Ana, a Soldier, and then a McCree. But the McCree has pretty shitty drop off, right? It's like it's high range, he deals no damage. Now there's a new player in the game, right? It's Bastion.
Recon mode Bastion.
Not even only recon mode, also too, obviously, but also the turret mode. And if the recon gun is actually better than Soldier's gun at getting down Pharah, then holy smokes, dude! Like, if you have a Soldier and a Bastion shooting at you as a Pharah, might be an issue, right?
Yeah, I guess I didn't put that together, but I guess Bastion would be a pretty giant counter to Pharah now with his laser point recon mode, and obviously his turret mode. But this is another big change. His self-repair can now be used while walking. It is now bound to his alternate fire and no longer interrupted by taking damage, and it's a similar resource system to Defense Matrix. So I did play around with this a little bit, and people are saying that because of if you're able to juke well enough with him, you cannot kill him while he's healing himself. Because of the power of the heal, not stopping while taking damage. It doesn't even stutter. You don't stop him at all. And if they know how to use the resource well, unless you have like someone like a Genji sword or something going after him, or maybe he's discorded, he's pretty hard to take down.
Yeah. I saw a ridiculous interaction where, then when turret mode Bastion is nano boosted, he can't be killed by
I was gonna mention
Deadeye.
that, but yeah,
That is
yeah,
like what? Just imagine how much damage you need to pump into that thing in order to kill him if he's actually nano boosted, and he might just be one of the best targets to nano boost too,
hmm
right?
yeah. So speaking on that, the Bastion now has a new passive, Ironclad. Bastion takes 35% less damage while in Sentry or Tank configuration. So if you see a Bastion in tank mode with a nano boost, run. Just
Yep.
just run because he won't die. He's going to murder your entire team. I don't know if
Family
there's
and
a way
friends.
to kill him.
Yeah, I don't think there is. Like get possibly Genji reflect if he's bad
Yeah,
enough, right? But Jesus Christ, man,
I think
that's
they're
an
gonna need.
actual tank.
Yeah, I think they're gonna need to tweak that unless they like it, unless they're like, I mean, Blizzard very much, at least in the other games, Blizzard does very much have this like pass the torch mentality of Bastion's been shit for so long, so now they kind of want him to have some place, even if it knocks out someone else.
Yeah.
Um, because I mean, you remember Symmetra. Symmetra was if somebody picked Symmetra on your team, unless it was some like maybe King's Row, just for a teleporter on the first point, it was just like okay, we lose. But now Symmetra's being played a lot more. I mean, she's still a niche-ish pick, but with the new changes to her, she's better off, and maybe that's what this will do to Bastion.
Yeah. Could be that he's situationally just crazy in some instances.
Yeah.
I
Um.
mean, that's what Mr. Metra right now is. I feel that's an accurate
mhm.
description, right?
Yeah. Yeah. She's very good in very niche situations. Moving on past Bastion because we can speculate all you want, but these changes aren't. This isn't set in stone. This is still PTR changes. Um, D.Va defense matrix shots no longer need a travel time minimum distance before they can be blocked. So there was a problem. I'm going to read this developer comment. Previously, there was a minimum distance a projectile had to travel before it could be destroyed by defense matrix. This made it nearly worthless in any situation where an enemy was right next to your teammate, such as when Roadhog hooks your ally. The biggest one that I've seen out of this is actually a nerf to Zarya
Yeah.
because a lot of the time when I was playing Zarya or when I saw people playing Zarya, even if there was a D.Va, you would walk up and fire grav at the floor, and you
Yes.
could you could get everybody. But if you're playing against D.Va now, she can just eat it.
Yes. You
Um,
could crouch ultimate as Zarya, and D.Va would have no chance of blocking it.
mhm,
That it would make it 100% reliable, and now that's no longer possible,
yeah.
right?
So good on D.Va. I still think she is in a really bad spot right now after the changes, though.
Yeah.
May cryo freeze can now be targeted by allies with while in cryo freeze. The only thing I can see by this is maybe she can get a little bit of extra healing while she's in cryo freeze because if she's at
Is that
like
what it means? Yeah.
yeah
Can she be healed? Okay.
yeah,
Well,
so if she maybe lives with one health in cryo freeze isn't gonna heal her completely.
yep. Yep.
So she could be topped off, which is nice, I guess.
Yeah.
Um, Mercy resurrect. This is another big one. So Mercy resurrect while performing a resurrection. Mercy now becomes temporarily invulnerable along with allies being revived. So a lot of times Mercy will fly in and res and just immediately die because she's the only one still there. Now she actually has a little bit of a buffer, which I haven't played around this, so I don't know. Do you think this? I mean, it is a beneficial change, but do you think this is like going to change things up a lot?
I mean, it makes it super reliable for her too. That's one of the big issues that Mercy Res had before
Hmm.
because like if you have like a let's say your entire team died around a payload, and you fly in. By the time they're resurrected, what can the opponents do? I mean, some characters can set up, I guess. You know, if you have a Junkrat, you can place a trap under a resurrecting opponent, or if you're a Reinhardt, you can charge your charge into their position and everything. But for most characters, the one target that is immediately there, and they were aiming at anyway because they wanted to interrupt the res before it went off, is basically killing Mercy. So in the best case scenario, or in most cases, you were playing 5v6 then, right?
Yeah.
Because you get the res off, but at the cost of Mercy's life most of the time. And that obviously negates that issue. I don't know if it completely negates it, because from the wording it says basically that she gets vulnerable
Temporary.
for the same duration. I would think that her allies are. That still puts her in a kind of delicate position because the others can still move upon her. But it's not an, you know, I automatically die because I'm the beacon that basically says kill me because I just inflicted this pain of having to kill these guys again.
Yeah.
You know?
I really wonder if they're going to give her a gold hue as well when she actually reses, as like a visual cue of you can't touch me right now, because it'd be very frustrating to be shooting at her and she's just like, I'm here.
I would think she would turn golden just as she would be if she got rezzed, right?
Yeah.
In the times when
we don't talk
there
about
were two mercies.
we don't talk about that time.
Speaking of old times, by the way, I think we are at a point in the game where basically what we always said is becoming more and more true. I think if we had the old Mercy range, right, it wouldn't be any overpowered right now in the current meta game and in the way that people play and how people set up on reses, how effective reses feel this way, right?
I was actually having this discussion with some of the people on the Discord that a lot of the nerfs and changes that they made to the game while hero stacking was a thing, I think they need to relook at, because once they removed that, things like Winston bubble and some of the other things that like Mercy range that they changed could actually be put back into the game and given back to those heroes, even in like, you know, if you took half the power and gave it back to them or something like that.
Yeah, also because the meta simply changes and people got better at certain characters, right?
Yeah.
Like to merely think that really Anna wasn't built that much for her to be ridiculous now. What really changed was an evolution in the playstyle people had when playing her, right? And this is basically also expressed, and I simply don't think that Mercy Res, even if it had the ridiculous 30-meter range it had before in beta, I don't think it would be a big issue because people now can play off these characters, and most of the time, obviously, you're now trading also support spots with Anna, with Lucio, where we know these are super potent. So in order for Mercy to get in there, like, I don't know, I think people have learned and the metagame has sufficiently, you know, developed that it wouldn't be ridiculous anymore.
No. I think Winston should be able to pick his bubble back up too. But
yeah, maybe that's true. Yeah,
that's just me. Okay, I'm actually going to skip some of the sensitivity because a lot of this is sensitivity changes. Torbjorn, Rivet Gun, ammo now loaded earlier. Widowmaker, grappling. Oh, I actually completely forgot about Widowmaker. Her grappling hook sensitivity. Okay.
Yeah.
And some balance changes. Oh yes, Eichenwalde. You say it.
Eichenwalde.
Yeah, there you go. The second gate, so the gate in front of the actual castle itself, instead of closing, now a bunch of rubble falls down, and it closes off maybe like the height of a character, but you can jump, like it's rubble, you can jump over it and fly through it to get through instead of having to go around. But also, that leaves it open for maybe like a clutch Widow play to snipe people off from spawn when you're on defense as Widow, because there's a huge straightaway just coming right from their spawn. People were saying it's because you felt, let's see, once offensive teams get through the castle entrance, the map becomes very heavily stacked in the defense's favor. This change will give the offense more of an entrance option, which I can understand, yes, but I didn't
Okay,
think.
so I saw statistics on this, right?
Yeah.
The hardest point in just talking about hybrid maps,
Hmm.
the hardest first point to take in the game in terms of a hybrid map is Numbani,
Yes.
right? But Numbani, once you have the first point, is the easiest to finish out of all the hybrid maps.
Okay.
Eichenwalde is completely the different side. It's the easiest point to take first, but it's the hardest to finish, simply because of this gate also going, not only, but you get the drill, right?
Yes.
Because this thing closes up and it's fairly easy to, close it shut or make it very disadvantageous for the opposition to come through these funnels,
Hmm.
So I think everything that opens up these side imbalances and makes it more even is just going to be beneficial for playing and
Okay.
viewership experience, right?
Yeah. Okay. Let's see. Anything else here? A bunch of bug fixes that I don't think that matter too much that I've heard of. Sound barrier provided says blah 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 blah. Okay. They need to fix Anna's nano boost. That's about it for the bug changes.
Yeah.
Okay. So moving on past that, we do have a little bit of a discussion about the end of season 3. So season 3 ended today for UK and yesterday for the US. I actually don't know if this would be a dumb question. When does it end for Korea? It would probably
Good
have to be.
question.
It would have to
Yeah,
be within like
probably.
a day or two of us, wouldn't it?
Yeah. Most definitely, yeah.
So before I have a question that I want to ask you on season 4, but before that, I want to see how season 3 itself seems honestly like it blurred with season 2 a little bit. I don't think we
Yeah.
saw too much of a change in the meta, besides maybe the lack of Beyblade that we saw at the beginning of season 2. Other than that, it's been very tank heavy, very Anna heavy, Lucio. Soldier actually did shine this season. That is the one big thing. Soldier was almost absent in season 2.
Yeah. True.
Besides that, we saw Oasis come in, and Oasis as a map, I actually do like. I think it's. I don't know if I would say it's balanced completely because of things like the jump pad and the map with the undercarriage,
Yeah.
but I like it. I think it's very visually. It's visually aesthetic. I like it, but
True, yeah.
I don't know if it fits some of the other maps. Like Lijiang Tower is probably the best King of the Hill map in my opinion, but it's also been one of the ones that's been with us the longest.
True, yeah. Yeah. Dude, like, something is up with Oasis. I played, like, out of 100 games, I
Hmm.
think, let's say 100 games, I got it once.
Really?
Yeah. I don't know what's happening.
You'd think that it would be the opposite because I know
Yeah,
uh,
exactly.
yeah, I would think that they would like maybe tweak the numbers so you'd get it like a percent or a point of a percent more often, so that they can test things out and like get more data from that. But I guess maybe you're the 1%.
Yeah.
I really Was there anything huge that you saw in the competitive scene that differed from season 2 to season 3?
I mean, okay, so in terms of solo queue meta, we have the same shit.
Yeah.
Like, same, right? In terms of pro play, I think they're, especially recently, it's basically Apex is a game changer. It's both the tournament structure and the teams participating being very open to experimentation because some teams simply don't want to play the meta because they know they're not going to out execute other teams. So
Yeah.
they have to innovate, right? And also because they have this different styles. So what we've seen, for instance, this week was an absolutely ridiculous performance on Sombra, right? Like Rascal played her, admittedly against possibly one of the worst Korean teams or the worst Korean team in the league,
Yeah.
Flashlux. But still, like Flashlux still took a game of Fnatic and everything. So, and they aren't really chumps, right? So, but Rascal played her like you just know if you ever play against Sombra this good, you're going to flip your shit, man. Like this is fucking turntable level annoyance that this guy exuded. Basically, what he did was he played super aggressive with his teleporter, using it offensively most of the time, getting at higher grounds. Then okay, it's disingenuous to say he was winning duels against Soldier because most of the time he was distracted. But what you have to say is he had amazing pacing and timing in knowing when to go up there and take the Soldier in a duel, while he's occupied with other things. So he took the high ground, for instance, on what's it called? The London map, Kings Row.
Kings Row, yeah.
Yeah, from Kings Row, and he played it all the way through, right? And it was a ridiculously amazing.
Who did they combo it with?
Well, the thing is that shit didn't need any comboing, man. He was hard carrying. He was killing shit.
Yeah.
He was constantly hacking the Reinhardt.
Mm-hmm.
So basically, once the Reinhardt shield is gone, you know how important Reinhardt shield races can be.
Yeah.
Now, that is like you win every time if you hack them, right? So that's what he did often. Like his awareness was incredible. But the most striking thing is, and I think a lot of people can understand this the best, is sometimes you understand how much better a player is than another by looking at how he transits from one thought or one goal to the next. What I mean by this is, like, sometimes you stick too much to one thing, right? You want to kill this Widow. You want to kill... Like, he had amazing lucidity in his play. He would simply let go of this one objective he had in his mind constantly and switch things up so quickly. Like, his decisions-making process was so on point. And I think this is where Sombra needs to be played at. Like, not adhere to these single goals, but just basically have constantly in your mind the goal to be as annoying as possible, as disruptive as possible. Not necessarily killing stuff, but just disrupting the flow of the opponent. And this is where Sombra shines. And if you can then get kills, man, that's the... And this is basically, if you think about, for instance, if I take the DPS setup that Albion is a writer at Gamers always advocates for, is basically you have two types of DPS players. You have the guy that shoots everything and kills it, and you have the guy that is the distractor, right, for the skill beast that kills them.
Yeah.
So you basically have the guy that kicks other people in the butt, and when they turn around, the skill beast headshots them. And this is what Sombra does the best out of any DPS character, if played correctly, at least from what I've seen. Granted, maybe this is easier to shut down for better players, better opposition and everything.
Interesting.
But I don't know, this was really... And you could see it, the observer, like the time the observer was on that Sombra was 80% during the time he was played, because it's so fun to see. Like,
well, I mean, it's a character.
Yeah,
it's a character that we don't see a lot of, and it's something that they've continuously skipped over and skipped over and skipped over in patch changes, because there's some hidden thing that nobody knows, and maybe if they give her a little bit more light, people will try her out more, and people will put more time into her and actually learn her, and maybe she'll actually have a niche somewhere.
Yeah, I think, like, if you, and Reinforce said this on the competitive Overwatch subreddit, if you buff her slightly, she has a real potential to be overpowered.
Yeah.
So we gotta let it sit for a while, right, and see where it goes.
Yeah,
otherwise we are going to produce the next Ana.
We just, hopefully we don't, brush her under the rug and forget about her.
Yeah, yeah.
Especially with, this is my transition to the next, especially with an awesome hero on the way.
True.
So last night, there was a leak and I want to see if I can get the name exactly right, which I will probably butcher anyways. It's like Ori. Let's see. Yeah, in the Efi Doomfist. That's
Okay.
that's
Yeah.
a horrible butchering, but the talk from the community. This is another. I mean, they buttered us up with the Sombra thing, and so now everyone is a master, investigator. They've connect. Excuse me. They've connected her to her eye tattoos. So I have an image up for everybody who's watching. Her eye tattoos. They've connected it to the Sombra video where there's an eye with the same thing. They've connected her name to some type of healing. But they've also connected her to Numbani, obviously. And Numbani, the payload on Numbani has a star pattern on it. Or not a star pattern, a sun pattern. And that sun pattern was actually seen on a robot in early promotional material. And people are thinking either it's for people who have played League of Legends, it's either going to be like an Annie type of like she is controlling this giant robot who goes out and kills, or she is a spider tank like pilot, I guess you could say. There was also a leak on 4chan that announced the New Year's event, the Chinese New Year's event. They announced that there's going to be a new Mei cinematic that'll explain her cryo freeze situation, and that this new person, when the character actually comes out, is going to be something called like Anchor Iraq and something like that.
Mm-hmm.
And that it's set to rival Reinhardt as far as like a tank goes. Obviously, this is all speculation, 100% speculation, but it's something for us to chew up now while we're waiting. And there's also a rumor that in March is PAX, and even though Blizzard didn't say that they have a booth, people are thinking maybe PAX East is when they're going to announce this next character or give us more information.
When's PAX?
When is the exact date? March 10th through the 12th, so in 2 weeks. Yeah, so 2 weeks from Friday.
Yeah. I mean, okay, you ready?
Yeah.
There's a possibility that we get information about this character much quicker than this.
Mm-hmm.
And then obviously, like, because what did we think? What's the next character?
We thought it was Doomfist, right?
Yeah. Yeah. What if, and this wouldn't be the first, like, depending on how big Blizzard thinks PAX East is. I remember frequently at gaming, exhibitions that they had or that developers have like one new character that you can play there, and then one concept they present to you. So maybe we get more info on Doomfist even at PAX already.
Yeah.
Right? That could be the case too.
I really wonder what Blizzard's plan is for. I mean, because they have to have we're at 24, so I think they probably have to have 24 through 30, at least in concept prototype, already all thought out. So I wonder what their idea is, and I wonder if because they didn't really do anything besides maybe inviting Terry Crews to Blizzard HQ to give people an idea like Doomfist is the next hero. But this community perception of we want Doomfist, I think only comes from the fact that we don't know any other characters other than not even in the lore. We don't know anybody else besides some of the very, very early concept art has crazy Omnics in the background, or some of the things the Winston cinematic where he's recalling Overwatch, and a lot of the profiles flash by, some things like that. But we still don't know who these are. These could just be random people or random artwork, or they could be things that, a year from now we'll go, wow, that's who that was in this artwork, and blah, blah, blah. So it's hard to say I guess my overall point for that statement was I wonder if the community perception pushed Doomfist farther ahead than what
Mm,
Blizzard was originally intending on.
yeah. I mean, Doomfist admittedly is a little bit of a bigger character than you would, because
Yeah.
he's in the very first cinematic. They mention him. The kid is sort of marveling at the, glove, and he's also part of obviously of the payloads, and he's sort of more transparent as a new character. Like we knew he was coming basically very early, right?
Yeah.
But the fact that now like such a huge personality seems to be voicing him just creates additional pull towards the character. So
The only thing that I'm worried about is the same thing that happened with WoW, is that like it if you give up the big baddie that everyone knows of too early on, I mean 6 months,
yeah,
8 months into the game is very early. Um, what's next? Like,
true.
yeah, I think that we need to keep this looming like Doomfist is everywhere. Doomfist is like the head of is no, yes, he's the head of Talon, isn't he? Or is part of Talon?
He's at least part of Talon, but I'm not good on my lore. He could
Okay.
easily be the. I mean, Talon in itself seems to be sort of like these people don't deal well with authority, so I don't know if they have a leader,
Yeah.
maybe more like, basically like in
An
a
organizer.
Naruto.
Yeah.
Yeah, in Naruto there was like this one. I mean, they have a Akatsuki, but these guys basically did whatever they wanted, except this one guy that was just stronger than everyone, right? And if that's Doomfist, I can definitely see that like the problem with sort of like the lore power creep in a
Yeah.
sense, right? Then you need to like shonen type need to one up, one up, one up, one up, and then somewhere along the lines, the other characters need to improve and match up to the challenge. Otherwise, they wouldn't feel powerful. Not disregarding all balance discussions, but just in terms of character progression.
Yeah.
Like if Bastion doesn't improve in his software or hardware in any way, how is he up to these stronger and stronger opponents?
Yeah.
Right.
And that's where they
So
need to be very careful with, like I'm saying, who they're introducing. They need to step side by side, maybe get some more like Australians in here, like from the crazy like Mad Max world, or. But I do want to see more evil characters. I don't think we have enough evil characters because what we have, Widow, Sombra's technically not evil. Sombra's technically like a soul, like a lone wolf, but like as
hmm
part of Talon, we have Widow, Reaper, um, and evil still Junkrat and Hog are from the Australian. Like they're just criminals.
yeah.
So we would have what, 5 so far?
Yeah, I also want like an evil support,
Yeah.
right? We don't have an evil support. In no way.
hmm I'm very much the, I like to get sad and think about death and stuff type of person. Uh, so I want more craziness. I want more batshit, and I think that Blizzard does evil very well. So
That's true.
they just need to pick up the pace with these heroes. Is I guess what I'm saying. Because you look at things like I don't want to say League of Legends, but League of Legends, they had a schedule of like a hero a month for a while. Even Heroes of the Storm has a pretty ridiculous schedule with releasing heroes, but they have a giant pool of like years and years of lore from 4 or 5 different games that they can go through. But this 2 heroes a year thing is really, it
Yeah.
sucks.
The problem is obviously like releasing a lot of high quality heroes because if you think about the heroes that were added the latest, they are also the most complex and fun to play, right?
That's how it always is. I mean, it's getting in. I mean, just look at like League, League, like the original heroes that have like Alistar and Annie. Annie's okay because she
Master
has
Yi.
Tibbers. Yeah, like they're okay. They're cool. Blah blah. But then now you got people who can like rewind time and teleport through walls and like do like there's this new girl who can like hook onto walls and jump off the wall, but hook through and create like a hexagonal trap. It's
Yeah,
so fucking weird. But
yeah.
it's just the comfort level of, oh, we found this new tool that we can use for the game physics to create this new character and blah, blah, blah. So it will evolve over time.
That, and also I genuinely believe that designers also need to figure out what Overwatch is as they create Overwatch, if
Yeah.
you get what I mean, right? Like we've talked so often about the problem of fleshing out a profile, and obviously, like that's the hardest job in the world right now, right? To just think, okay, I need to create these fun characters, please the casual crowd, and at the same time create a product that could potentially be very competitive, skillful, appealing, followable, in the sense of observable, telling a story. Like that's, dude, so hard.
Hmm. All right. So, I want to keep this one a bit short just because I don't want us to talk in circles for too much longer. We're going to move forward in the fact that I do want to obviously continue rolling with episodes. It's between me and Yiska to find time to do them, as well as we're shifting our time schedules up a bit. We're not going to be doing them on Thursdays, but I don't want to announce anything yet. We're still trying to figure everything out. We're also, like I said earlier, looking for a new party to join the team. So, anyone out there with aspiring content creation, please hit us up. If you guys enjoy what we do, as always, make sure you hit the subscribe button. Yiska, do you have anything you want to announce for yourself? Anything about the channel that you want to say before I wrap it up completely?
I mean, I will try to just have more solo content. Just, 10 minutes, bang,
Yeah.
shoot it out to the world, and then I actually like. Hopefully, I have sort of like a free weekend. I should be able to do at least one.
Hmm. I do think I am a little bit hypercritical of myself in that like I'll think of an idea and it's an easy like 10-minute conversation that I can just talk about how I think the game's going or like talk about a tournament even, how the results went, how teams played, things like that. Um, and I guess I overanalyze it and don't push it out, but I should leave it up to the audience to do that.
True.
Put out a few shitty videos, I guess, in my opinion. Um,
Absolutely. Yeah.
yeah, put out a few random videos and let you guys eat them up. But that we will see. I don't know where I leave off from here. I hope you guys enjoy what we do. I hope you guys will stick with us into the future of the channel. We're not going anywhere. We just got a little bit of a kick in the knee, I guess, and no fault of Vultcha. We're not nothing, no hard feelings to him. We left off on very good terms, and there's a possibility if he finds passion for the game again, maybe he'll hop on and make an appearance here and there. But for the future of Watchpoint, guys, thank you so much for being with us for almost a year and a quarter, year and a half now, and we will see you guys on the next episode. Have a good night, everybody.
Good night.